With only 14 days to the opening of the presidential campaign by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, the game is getting more interesting. There has been a whole lot of revelation here and there. We're really getting to know the candidates better, thanks to the campaign spokespersons. Festus Keyamo, the spokesperson of the APC, has been hit so badly that I wonder what he'll be saying next to defend what has been said about him and his principal, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Please watch this video again.
600 million naira IGR, 600 million to 51 billion IGR monthly today. That is a wealth creator. And Nigeria surely needs a wealth creator now. He's a transformative leader. He has the capacity and the brain to assemble some of the best minds around him. Let me tell you what Asiwaju did as governor of Lagos State. He went outside the southwest. He went to the heartland of Igbo land, to Anambra State, and brought his commissioner for budget and planning, Akabweze, to come and head in Lagos, in the heart of Lagos. The younger ones, if they don't know, they should tell you now that that's the type of leader that is campaigning for you to vote for him. He went for the best in Anambra State. And that is the template that the Igbo man formed today that is, what we are seeing in Lagos State as Commissioner for Budget and Planning in Lagos State. He went to Akabweze. He went to Kwara to bring the best. He went to Osun to bring the best. He went everywhere to gather the best around him. A president does not do everything himself. He makes a final call. He only listens to the experts around him. And the job of the president is not to be the economist. It's not to be the lawyer. It's not to be the expert. No. The job of the president is to listen to the experts and to make the final call. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has had the capacity to make the final call. The major rival we have today has not held any executive position where he makes the final call in government. So we cannot second guess. Atiku Abubakar has never held any government position where he makes the final call. He was vice president. He was not the chief executive.
Now, another person from the PDP camp who used to be a strong voice of the APC before he defected after the party's presidential primaries, which didn't go down well with him, has now taken up the fight from Dino Melaye. If you have ever heard that Bola Ahmed Tinubu made Lagos State what it is today, then hear what Daniel Bwala said in this regards. Watch.
I will tell you more about what they are campaigning with as an agenda or as a rhetoric that he did well in Lagos. I will tell you, between 1999 to 2007, if you take out context, he actually performed worse than some governors in Nigeria, because the Lagos that they say he did, he improved the revenue, he only collected tax. All the infrastructure needed for a state or in fact a country to develop was on ground. Lagos used to be the Nigerian national capital. Before Nigeria was formed, Lagos was a colony. You have all the infrastructure for economic development. As what you didn't establish them. There was seaport, there was airport, you have commercial activity, all the embassies are there, so transaction with foreign envoys is in Lagos, all the hotels are there, headquartered in Lagos, all the banks are headquartered in Lagos, all security apparatus, every facility and infrastructure for economic development was in Lagos. He didn't bring them. Asiwaju did not invite or introduce or brought to Lagos any serious foreign investor or domestic investor. And these revenues we are talking about that they claim he has generated, we are on. It's just that the government didn't have the infrastructure in collecting those. So what he did throughout this period was to collect tax. That's what they claim by revenue. And even then, the reason he did that was because the company that was collecting the tax, the company is allegedly traceable to him.
That was Daniel Bwala, one of the spokesperson of the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. The summary of all what he said is that Lagos has already been positioned to boom economically even before Bola Ahmed Tinubu became the governor, and that all what he did in his 8 years of governorship was to collect tax. I can't wait for the APC camp to debunk this claim. Then again, Daniel Bwala opened up on what he said is Tinubu's legacy in Lagos State. He called it monarchical democracy, a kind of democracy where the people's voice does not reflect on who governs them. Decisions are only made by one person who represents every other person. Hear what Daniel said in this regards. Watch.
Let me tell you what he did in Lagos. One, he attempted to destroy democracy. He wanted to introduce what we call monarchical democracy, a democracy that is not reflected by the will and wishes of the people, but reflected by the choice of a man, and people should run around it. He introduced the concept in politics in Nigeria that we call take the queue, follow the queue. He was the only governor in Nigeria that during the period of 7 years, he has had to impeach his deputy governors 3 times and change them. He's the only politician in Nigeria that nobody wins under his tutelage unless the person is chained or positioned by him. You don't win by the popularity that you carry or because you have idea, but whether he has approved you. That is 1. 2, the House of Assembly in Lagos throughout his period never had the independence. This is the man you say he promotes democracy. Never had the independence. In fact, when allegedly the drug conviction in Chicago was alleged, to have, happened, and then Ganifa was all over the place that he should be checked, he should be probed, he should be prosecuted. The House of Assembly sat down. They had no business doing that. They said they cleared him. That they did a finding and they cleared it. On what premise?
Again, the APC camp needs to debunk these claims. The question is, do the people of Lagos State have a voice over who governs them? We await the answer to this question. It's so confusing that one can actually go back to his vomit. This is the picture painted by Daniel Bwala when he revealed what he said is the biggest mistake Tinubu has ever made in his quest to become Nigeria's president. Let's hear from Daniel again. Watch.
Do I now detour to tell you about Festus Keyamo and Lalong? I was in APC when I was canvassing for vote for Asiwaju. Lalong was doing Amechi, Festus Keyamo was doing Amechi. All the negative narrative that is built in the air against Asiwaju were pushed by Festus Keyamo. They don't believe in Asiwaju. They are just there on contract. Festus Keyamo was the one that peddled the idea that Asiwaju had Parkinson. Festus Keyamo was the one that peddled the idea that Asiwaju had baggages. The worst about Festus Keyamo was that he was even oscillating like a pendulum between the vice president and what do you call him, and Amechi. Suddenly, Festus Keyamo has come to talk about Asiwaju he didn't believe. The greatest mistake Asiwaju has made in constituting his campaign structure was to choose the people that did not and still don't believe in him.
This is so interesting. Taking a U-turn within the blink of an eye over someone you never believed in to now promoting him to Nigerians as the best of the best. Festus Keyamo actually took Tinubu to court over certificate forgery back then in 2002. According to Daniel, all the negativity around Tinubu's candidature were all propagated by Festus Keyamo. Why then should Nigerians believe you when you tell them that the man who was once a sinner is now a saint to rule over them? This question is to Festus Keyamo. It will take hard work to do that. Finally, watch Daniel Bwala bury the argument that Atiku Abubakar never held executive powers where he had to make the final call. This is what Daniel said. Watch.
They said he is corrupt. What's the yardstick for measuring a corrupt person? In Nigerian law, indictment and conviction by a competent court. He has never been indicted. He has never been convicted. I need you to know, Obasanjo investigated Atiku more than any other person in the history of Nigeria. Ribado at the time was all over the map fetching evidence till Obasanjo left government, till successive government took over, until this present time. Atiku has never been invited by the EFCC. He has, so it's a perception held by one man, but let's not trust it to him. When did Obasanjo begin the campaign that Atiku was corrupt? When Atiku foiled the plan for a third term. So we have to look at context. Atiku does not have, but in contrast, Asiwaju has been investigated by EFCC, ICPC, the United States government. So even on the evidence of what they peddle, they don't have anything to say. They came to the issue of Atiku does not have executive power. That's very important thing. That the governors are more experienced than him. I look at him and I laugh. Why? Because when Atiku was vice president and chairman of the economic committee or economic council, these governors come to him to take notes. Asiwaju came, take notes. took notes. Peter Obi took notes. But let me even escalate the argument further. Gani Fawoyemi wrote an article titled Obasanjo the Absentee President. And in Gani's finding, which is a finding that he personally did because he took Obasanjo to court at the time, he came up with this finding that Obasanjo traveled in the first 3 years of the first term 93 times. And for these 93 times, he was away from Nigeria for 240 days. If you multiply 240 days by 30 days, that makes up a month, you have 8 months. For this period, he's been away for 8 months. Atiku Abubakar governed Nigeria as the commander-in-chief, because as an acting president, you're commander. Then they made an argument that, no, there was never a transmission of letters, so he was not acting president. Obasanjo in 2019 said, that's balderdash. I didn't consider it necessary to designate him as an acting president, because my understanding is that once the president is out, the vice president takes the full reins of power.
I think every of Keyamo's arguments so far as regards the qualifications of his principal Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his attacks on the person of Atiku Abubakar has been flawed. This is a huge task on Festus Keyamo. How is he going to handle this? We are here for the entertainment. We are here to see the last of these arguments. Please subscribe to our channel and make sure you vote come next election. I'll keep you updated on this, and I'll see you again. Follow us on all our social media channels showing on your screen right now. Until I see you again, my name is ADS. Signing out.